Okay, so here's where I left off at the last video. I've successfully cloned all of the files down from GitHub. And I'm going to go over here back to the instructions. And again, you know, there's some part of the instructions which are that are sort of part of the lecture. So we're just going to scroll through some of that. And we're going to be editing index.html. And at step 4, we're being told that we have to fix something in the head. So we're going to go ahead and get into VS Code. And these are comments here that start with, well, it's going to look different in your, potentially in your VS Code, so I'll just type it out. Less than, exclamation point, dash dash, and then it's dash dash, greater than symbol. It's my font that makes it look so snazzy, I think. So these are comments. They're written for people to read, not for the browser. The browser ignores comments. And we have a to-do comment here that says fix validation error, add UTF-8 encoding using a meta element with a char set attribute. And hopefully this would make more sense if you had read some of this, but essentially what it's looking for at this point, let me make this slightly larger, much larger, so that we get this whole thing, is our index.html is missing this meta tag right here. And if you've been in class, we had a discussion of what UTF-8 is. But HTML5 requires that it be declared inside our head. So let me go back and say what I did. I carefully copied that. I'll do it again, highlight it and copy it. And now I'm going to take that comment out, very carefully highlight the whole thing and use my delete key to take it out and then paste in that meta tag. So that was just an exercise to understand that there are requirements that HTML5 that you need to have inside your HTML file for it to be valid. Okay, so we go back. We were on step 4. We've actually completed step 4. We put in the missing meta tag and we've taken out the to-do comment. Now we've got to find the lines in the body element for Lyon, Kent, and Branchburg and then change those. And obviously you would put your name here and your location. Whatever that might be. So I've made 2 changes, one that would not show up because it's in the head, and 2 that would show up because they're in the body. And this closed circle up here shows me that I have unsaved changes. So I'm going to save the file, come up to the file menu, come down to save, and that open circle goes away. We'll talk in a few moments about this number inside a circle here. Right now I'm going to hover over index.html and right click and select open with live server. So that's going to bring up the site, this local version of the site inside Live Server, and we can actually see, sure enough, there are changes there. So let's keep going. Go back. Now I've done step 5, and now it says to change the answers to the other questions inside here. So we're going to get to these to-dos here before we finish, but I'm just going to make some changes. I want to be, what do I want to be? Make up some stuff here. Oops, can't spell. And in my free time, I like to go bird watching. Okay. Again, we see we have unsaved changes, so I can save again. And Live Server picks up on those changes without having to redo Live Server. It's monitoring these files, and it reloads the page every time it sees a saved change. So that was step 6. We're into step 7. Again, there's some lecture here about some of the HTML that we're required to change. But essentially what we want to do is add 2 H2 elements where the to-do lines are, to give subtitles to the 2 sections that we have in the HTML. So let's find the first one. And the instructions say to replace that with an H2 that says, "Hello, I am." So I'm going to come and carefully highlight the complete comment and take it out with my delete key. And I'm going to use emit, which is built into VS Code, to create an H2 tag for me. So I'm going to type H2, and you notice that emit created a pop-up when I did that, and so it's predicting what it is I want to type, and it's going to help me do that. So at this point, all I have to do is hit the return or the enter key, and it creates an H2 open and H2 close tag and leaves the cursor right in between the 2 of those. And at this point, I can say or type, "Hello, I am." So that takes care of that first one. And now rinse and repeat. Come down here, carefully remove that to-do comment, type H2, hit return so that emit makes the tag for me, and say, type, "Do you know ... Again, save that. And sure enough, there are our subtitles, our H2 elements inside the web page. At this point, why don't we go ahead and take care of making sure that our GitHub repo has these changes. And this symbol right here is the Git symbol. If we click on that, we get into the Git area, And when we see a number in a blue circle, this is a number of files that Git has found changes in. And obviously, we've only changed the index.html. And so that is the thing that we need to send back up to GitHub so that we are in sync between our local computer and our GitHub. So when we click on this, we open up inside this commit message box, and every commit has to have a message assigned to it. And we have to commit before we can do a push, which is sending our files back up to GitHub. So I'm going to say add, I'll do change bio info. Your commit messages can be things that make sense for you, but by convention, they're fairly short messages in using a verb which is in present tense. So that's what I've got here. Click on that using the check mark and come over here to the ... pull that down and find push. And if all goes well, you see that little line there, little circle here that it's pushing. It's very slow. I hope I have internet. It shouldn't take that long, so I may have lost my Wi-Fi. Oops. Unable, could not resolve host. Yes, I've lost my Wi-Fi. So let me just turn it off and back on. If not, I will quit this recording and I'll pick it up when I can get my Wi-Fi. Okay, I've lost my Wi-Fi, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to quit and get my Wi-Fi to come back and start over, or start from here.